So far, this channel has been basically just me documenting the process of reanalyzing every single aspect of my life in order to try to figure out why I've been so miserable and to turn things around, to straighten everything out, to get it all figured out so that I can enjoy life. But what I just said there was trying to document everything about that process. Life carries on as normal. Parallel to me doing this process, normal life stuff continues. Old habits creep in. Unexpected things happen. Life doesn't always go to plan. And so there is what I'm trying to do, the path that I have laid out for myself of my video ideas of how I'm going to go about things, and then there's what actually happens. And they rarely ever line up perfectly. As I've said in other videos, there have been many times where I did not make a video about something or even reference something in a different video because I felt not ready. Like that thing did not fit in with the current line of succession of the videos that I'd been working on. It's like, yes, if I continue this process, eventually I'd get to this video, but it happened now when it should happen then. And I've talked about that in other videos. But then there are other things that happened that I did decide to just shove in there, even though it didn't fit. For example, my moving vlogs. And in those, I kind of discovered that I don't know if I even want to document everything, because the very act of documenting changes the experience of the thing that you are trying to document. Moving and making a vlog of moving are two very different things, and making a vlog of moving affects the moving. Because then I'm having to spend time on this and set up camera angles and plan out the way I'm going to move things to make it look good on camera. Or maybe not, what's a better way of wording that? So that you can see enough of it to get a feel for what's actually happening. But then what's actually happening is changed based on the very fact that I'm trying to document it, because I have to change this to adjust for this. And it's a weird balance, and that's a kind of an extreme case. There are many, many other things where the fact of documenting doesn't actually affect what you're actually doing that much, and you get a much more accurate representation of what it would have been like if I wasn't documenting it. For example, skiing. It's not that different. If you're skiing by yourself or if you're skiing with a GoPro on your head, you're pretty much doing the same thing. Maybe I'm like paying attention to where the camera is pointing so that you can see like the way my skis are bent a certain way. You can't see my body language. I'm like moving my legs around. Maybe I'm talking to the camera a little bit and vlogging the ski trip. Subscribe to stay tuned for that. But like the actual skiing itself isn't really modified that much. Then again, actually, now that I think about it more, the experience of the day as a whole does get changed, because then I have to stop and like set up a camera angle and then go back up and do that thing again. That's if I'm filming myself. I don't know. Filming is weird. Cameras are weird. Another thing to take into account is some people prefer privacy. They don't want information about them, even secondhand of me just telling a story about them. They don't want that information out there. Or maybe they don't want their face on camera. And that's definitely something to be taken into account as well. Maybe there are certain aspects of myself that I decide to not share. For example, when I'm on camera all the time, documenting everything I do, it can be a little bit exhausting. And while I'm a complete open book, I have no problem with sharing every aspect of my life, every little detail, enough so that other people are like, please just don't make videos about that. I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna make videos about that. I'm gonna post that online. And other people are like, no, no one wants to see that. And I'm like, I don't care. But sometimes it's nice to take a break from this and just be on my own. Because imagine if you had a friend with you, literally always, and you were talking to them all the time, and they saw everything that you do. They were with you always. You're here all the time. You watch me sleep. Not yet. That video will come eventually. I don't know. I'm just really glad I didn't accidentally bump the recording button and stop during that while I'm grabbing the camera. You know, that would drive you insane. You need some time alone. Alone time is good. And so I've always been really insistent on trying to document my first time doing something, to see my genuine initial reactions to something. And over the years, I've kind of discovered that my reactions are boring. Most of the time it's like, honestly, maybe it would be better if I did things on my own and then I can make a video about that thing later when I have a better understanding of it, or when I'm better at doing that thing, or whatever. Or I could do both, you know, make the video right away and then do something for a while on my own and then make a video about it later with reflections on it. Or I could document that whole process, which is also a great option actually, because then you can watch the entire process of me improving over time, which I've tried doing that as well, and that's a massive pain in the butt purely because it makes a lot of footage and then it takes a lot of time to edit it. Although that would give me lots of practice editing and that would be good too. So it's like there's a billion different ways of doing everything, and I don't know what's the best way. Is there a best way? Or maybe everything is fine and it doesn't matter how you do it, just do whatever you want, and if someone has a problem with it, then oh well. Nah, that's kind of a rude way of living your life. You have to be a little bit accommodating for others. For example, that one person that I know that does not want their face on the camera ever. And it's a big pain in the butt that I have to like blur their face or avoid getting their face on the camera in the first place, blah blah blah, when I'm doing things with that person. But whatever, I guess that's what I'm willing to do, I don't know. But I've kind of automatically settled on the idea that recording everything all the time is the ideal option, because I can always cut out more footage later. I can record myself my first time doing something when I have no idea what I'm doing. I can record the entire process of me getting better at that thing over time, and I can record reflections on it later when I actually know what I'm talking about, know what I'm doing, and I understand it, and I can look back on it. I can record all of it, and then mid-edit I can cut out or leave in whatever I want and craft the video into whatever way I want. So like I've said it in many of my other videos, I wish I could be filming literally always. But even then, it would still require an incredible amount of effort and skill to be able to document my perspective, so to speak, to not only see things that are happening, but my thoughts and feelings about those things. And those change over time. It's like vlogging is absolutely wild. And I do kind of consider this to be a kind of a form of vlogging. It's just a video log, and I'm keeping a log of my thoughts and experiences. So what if I'm not going out in public and filming myself going places and doing things? Actually, I did a little bit of that last weekend, and hopefully I will again soon, and I will continue to do that plenty of more. Anyways, what to label this content as irrelevant. It's just like one of my other videos where I was talking about the idea of me wanting to make as many of my videos as unedited as possible in order to practice just being better at saying things in the first place and not having to edit as often. And that creates, I guess, like a more genuine experience where it's like more closely matching who I really am and the way I really speak, I guess. But then there's also, I just saw a video recently by one of the Green brothers, and he had a really good point actually about why we should do jump cuts, and he was saying it's for the sake of acknowledging that there is a frame here, this is a video, this is not a genuine experience, this is a crafted product, this video is something that I have made, that I have sculpted, and I recorded this particular thought process and adjusted the details of it, the pacing, in order to create something that will hopefully give you the experience that I want you to have and receive the information that I'm trying to send to you. Filmmaking is a skill in the same way that speaking in general is a skill. You have to know how to phrase things in order to get the other person to understand what you're trying to say. And so in all of these things, there's this duality of like editing versus no editing. Either way, it doesn't seem to matter. I don't think there is like an objective quality here. Some things are better in some ways and some things are better in other ways. Sharing everything creates honesty and transparency and a more genuine connection that way. But also, not sharing everything creates a bit of a mystery. And I can have like things hiding in the background and then pull it out later and you're like, ooh, look at this. Having that complete honesty and openness with everything deprives you of that experience of like, ooh, look at this thing, you bet you didn't expect that. I think I'm just overthinking at this point, and I don't believe in overthinking, but it's getting to a point where I just don't think there is an answer, that I can do it either way, and it won't really matter. Some have pros, some have cons, but I genuinely am beginning to think that there is no better option, just to kind of do whatever you want, so to speak. I don't know what to think about this, so there is no nice solution or way of wrapping this video up, so I don't know what to think about it. I want to know what you think about it down in the comment section below. If you like this video, press like. If you want to see more, then subscribe and turn on notifications to stay tuned for more. If you want to help support my channel, then share my videos with anyone else you think might enjoy them, and take care.